Welcome back, folks. All right, so in exercise 3, we are still busy with the minimum maximum values. Question number 1 says, determine whether each of the following expressions have a minimum or maximum value, and then find the value of the minimum or maximum value. Okay, so let's start with our first one. You look at the a value, and I can see that the a value over here is negative. Negative means it's a frowny face. Since it is a frowny face, that means that it is a maximum value. Agreed? B is positive, which is a smiley face, which means it's a minimum value. C is a negative value, which is a frowny face, which means it's a maximum value. D is positive, smiley face, minimum value. E is positive, smiley face, minimum value. F is negative, which means frowny face, maximum value. And then G is positive, smiley face, minimum value. But now the question is also saying find the value. So let's go through this. Okay, let's look at this a little bit strategically. Our first equation is negative 9x squared, and our second one is positive 9x squared. Now what I want to do is I want to use this graphing software, and I want to see if we input that value, y equals negative 9x squared. That's our first equation. And then our second one is going to be y equals negative 9x squared, exponent squared. Now, what I want you to see is that based on this, our minimum and maximum value is going to be 0, 0. And in our equation, what you can see is there's nothing following this negative 9x squared. So we've got negative 9x squared, and we've got positive 9x squared. And for those two, we know that our minimum and maximum value is going to be at 0 for both of them. Okay, I'm looking for a pattern over here. Let's look at C. C says negative open bracket 2 minus x close bracket squared. Let's graph that one. So let's remove the green and the red, and we say okay, y is equal to y equals negative open bracket 2 minus x squared. 2 minus x close bracket squared. Okay, let's graph that one. And what do you see? There's a shift in the graph, right? It's not reflecting about the y-axis like it would. We can see that there's 0 is actually the turning point, right? So the important thing that I want you to notice here is we have got a frowny face, meaning that we have got a maximum value, and that maximum value is at 0. So when we're saying negative 2 minus x close bracket squared, our turning point is still at 0, but it has moved a little bit to the right. Let's look at D. D is x squared plus 1. This might be different. Okay, let's do D. Y equals x squared plus 1. That now again reflects about the y-axis. But this plus 1 is telling me that that is where the turning point is. So if I say x squared plus 1, all of a sudden my turning point is now no longer 0, but it is 1. So where does this turning point value come from? Notice there's nothing after here, nothing after here, nothing after here. This square is attached to that x, right? So this bracket is one value. But it's after the x squared. That is where we get our turning point value. Can you see that? Which means that, let's see if we can predict E. E has a 4 multiplied outside, then we have 3x plus 9, close bracket squared. Now, if I had to predict this one, I would say that my turning point, because there's nothing after the square, I would say my turning point is at 0. But let's input this. 4 bracket 3x squared plus 9. Okay, so it's 4 y equals 4 bracket 3x squared